Welcome back to Healing Lives with Positivity 24/7, 365. 365 and 24/7. This is a platform dedicated to positivity where we absolutely set our intentions to obsessively, compulsively, and deliberately just focus on all things positive, right? If we got a chance or a choice or to take our energy and focus on something good by way of having a good addiction, then I feel, and I hope you do too, that positivity is absolutely something to be addicted to. This channel is dedicated to my inner child by way of how far we have come. So from my inner child to your inner child, welcome. Come on in. If you're returning back to this platform, listen, I'm so glad you came back to hang out with me. I read all the comments. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for being transparent, right? That's not always easy. Okay, yeah, for being transparent, sharing your story with so much courage based on what you've gone through, taking your trials and your trauma and turning it into triumphs. Listen, I love y'all so much. This is the part of the spiritual session where we just simply wrap our arms around ourselves and take a deep breath. Reminding ourselves that we have every right to be here, every reason to be great. We are deserving of love and or balance. And so I celebrate you and thank you for coming here to celebrate with me. Listen, so I got into a conversation, all right? I'm going to pull some angel numbers, but mostly I want to tell y'all a story. Well, you know what? I'm just going to take the meat and spit out the bones. So meeting people, right? When you encounter people, you either are going to talk about your commonalities, what you have in common. You're going to talk about how you are so much alike and or different, or you will absolutely recognize this in somebody. Hopefully you're doing it from a conscious standpoint as opposed to unconsciously, right? This prevents trauma bonding by way of trauma. Oh yeah, well my dad did this. Oh yeah, well I grew up like this. And then you get into these really long stories about the past. The reason why moving forward is so important is because the longer you take to move forward, the more you rob yourself of moments that you can't get back, like the right now moments, right? This is what I feel. And so I got into a conversation with somebody about the past. You know, this person loves going into the past. And I understand shadow work. I know that some people are at different levels, different timelines by way of their ascension, what it is that they are, you know, adhering to by way of their spiritual journey. But this was so intense that I even sensed a form of mental illness, okay, in this person. It's 1:11 on the clock. And what I mean by mental illness, I mean something in the mental, something in their mind that is making them unwell, and they're unconscious of it. It's one thing to be conscious of the things that are affecting you mentally, physically, spiritually. But there is another thing to be unconscious of these, ways of being, characteristics. Don't be unconscious about anything. That's like being asleep. That is like being dead to who you are. There's no way for you to be both awakened and or asleep at the same time. Now, one might concede that when we are resting, when we are sleeping, is really when we're awake. I don't mean it from a spiritual standpoint. I mean it literally by way of the conscious mind, being conscious of what it is that you're talking about, why you feel the need to keep going back over things that apparently you feel you need in order to move forward, because in reality, it's an illusion. It really does take up time in the current moment, right? So this is somebody that every time I talk to them, they want to talk about the past, okay? And I know we've all been through the who am I, what is my past life, where did I come from, who was I in a past life, what did I do? And the best answer that I could give this person would be the same answer that I would give myself, right? Which is, well, how about we just focus on right now and move forward, and everything that we need to know is going to be revealed to us, but we can't keep going back there. There's no way We can't spend an entire lifetime going back there. Okay? So here's what we know by way of trauma and PTSD and mind control, right? If you had a dominating parent or somebody that told you what to think or how to be, then that can absolutely affect your decision making moving forward. What does that mean? Sometimes you might not know how to make a decision for yourself. You might seek out others constantly, almost in a way that you use people as a crutch for not making a decision on your own. This is why it's not good to control children too much, but to simply guide them. This is my own personal experience. If I had to have been my own parent, I would have said to myself, or the parents that I would have been at the time if I were the child and I were the parent simultaneously, I would have said, knowing what I know now, I need to guide this child in a way that they can make decisions for themselves. Here lies the dilemma. Here lies the rebellion. Because once you awaken to, oh, whoa, wait a minute, this is my life. I don't have to live it for my mom or my dad. I absolutely have to make my own decisions. I'm the one that's living this life. Ultimately, I have to take the good parts of what it is I've learned and toss out the rest, the trauma. I can't use it for anything, or I can take it and make it into something else if I so choose. But that's a superpower. But consciously deciding, hey, I got to choose for myself, right? Most people that have to keep seeking counsel outside of themselves, and I'll use myself as an example, are people that have been stifled. Okay? Usually told that your decisions are not the best ones. You need to go to school for this. You need to be this. You need to be this. Now listen, I'm not here to say that there have not been times in life where we did not need a little bit of guidance. But at the end of the day, top of the morning, you're the one that ultimately has to make that decision. I could give you all the advice in the world. And when it comes down to it, guess what? Guess who has to make the decision about a family member? Guess who has to make the decision to leave a relationship, to choose this job? You do. Because everything else is just conversation. It's just information. What you do with the information once you get it is absolutely going to determine where you go in life. You could have a whole conversation with somebody and they go right back to a dysfunctional relationship until the person on the other end says, wait a minute. Oh, hold up. Our friendship is debilitating. Me being a listening ear on the other end of whatever this trauma is that you keep reliving by way of your childhood now in your adulthood, which is a reflection of your relationship currently, is not me benefiting either one of us. So somebody has to cut the cord. Somebody has to decide, hey, wait a minute. I'm not helping you. I'm hurting you. Because you keep making the same decision, and now I'm frustrated because I'm giving you good advice from a place of what would I do if I were you? And you still keep going back to this memory or going back to this trauma or needing to remember something that maybe you should have just forgotten. If you don't remember something, then see that as a blessing. If it's something that you need to know, then you need to know it. And you have people that are committed beyond being committed. Well, I need to know who I was so I could stop doing this and doing that. They will fight you on this, right? Why? They're not fighting you on this. They're really fighting themselves in the presence of you. They're really angry that you won't get into their redundant sickbed. Hey, we can't keep having these old-fashioned conversations. We got to talk about something new. What's good? What does this look like moving forward? What you don't know and what you need to know, maybe you'll know on a need-to-know basis. So says the spirits of the universe on a higher level. There's a lot of things that we are above, and there's a lot of things that are above us. So sometimes there's doors and memories that don't need to be open. Now, this does not go against the idea of the Akashic records, but one has to be strong within themselves to even open the door to the Akashic records. Why? Because sometimes people feel like they really are reliving that time. And if you feel as though you're really reliving that time and you're telling your mind that, then you are literally recreating another time and lifetime where you're just doing the same thing over again. Are you strong enough to watch your life like a movie without interjecting, without having to pause the movie, without having to rewind it to understand what happened? Are you okay with watching yourself go through lifetimes where you were just messed up? I know, y'all, in a past lifetime, I was a drug addict. I know that for a fact. I know it. I could have committed suicide. I could have OD'd. I know that. I had too many memories as a child. And when I used to see drugs on like movies, I couldn't look at it. Until one day I was like, what is this thing with drugs? Why am I so afraid? What is it? Oh, I was a drug addict. Okay. Like, oh, okay. And guess what? Most of the people in this particular lifetime that I encountered were functioning drug addicts. Why? Because we had a history of drug abuse in previous lifetimes, pain and trauma. So the only thing we did was meet up again in this life, and I still had contracts to adhere to and balance out. Yeah. The only difference was I chose the light this time. They decided to stay in that lifetime. Some of them are still addicted to this day. One of my exes got fentanyl and OD 3 years ago. I can't stand drugs. It's like whatever my agreement was with Source in this life, I said, yo, listen, I can't. Whatever that was in a previous life, listen, keep it away from me. Keep it away from me, right? I could have had several lifetimes. How do I know that? Because my fears told me. I came into this life, and why am I so afraid of watching people do drugs and it's just a movie? Why can't I watch that? What is it? What is that? That was my Akashic records telling me, hey, you resonate with this. Something in you resonates with this. I'm like, oh, okay, listen, let's get to it, right? So the contracts I've had have not been easy. Most of them have been me saving myself over and over through people that I had previous lifetimes with. I'm like, all these people that I'm meeting is on drugs? What is this? And this is the thing. They don't look like drug addicts. These are functioning drug addicts. They go to work. They're lawyers. They're doctors. You know? Truck drivers. Functioning addicts. You see how the contract played out? How I had to clear my karma? How I made a promise to the same souls that I had been encountering in a previous lifetime, in this lifetime. So when I had to walk away from some of these people, I stood before Source and I said, my work here is done. I can't wake these people up if they don't want to wake up. The biggest lesson that I had to learn was that you cannot help everybody. That was hard, y'all. That was hard because really in reality, I was saving myself. Over and over and over and over again until I had to actually save myself over and over and over and over again. So I say that to say the Akashic records, going back in the past, shadow work, one has to be strong. Don't go into those records by yourself. No, take your higher self. Why? You ever seen somebody relive a story and they get all into it, child, and it'll trigger them in a way that they really think they going through it. Yeah, and I remember she did this to me when I was 5, and and you have to allow people the space in the room and the opportunity to be angry. Anger is a healthy expression. It exists. But you also have to hold yourself accountable and ask yourself, how long do I plan on reliving 5 years old? And now I'm 55 or 65 or 75 or 35 or 22. How long? One has to put stipulations on this. One has to put pressure on themselves to master self to get to the next level. Okay. Nevertheless, welcome. Child, I almost thought I was in spiritual court for a minute. The Most High is using me. This is all divine intervention. So the numbers we got here, number 29. The universe is saying, I am insightful, going within, right? Being mindful of your conversations. What are you talking about and when? If you're having conversations where you're being of a help to somebody, do not exhaust yourself to the point that you're now required to set the tone every time you talk to them to save them from something that they don't want saving from. At the end of the day, they have to make a choice about their life, and you have to make a choice about your life. That is the moral of the story. One has to be strong to go back into the shadows. Least you recreate the same trauma in your current situation. A lot of us married our parents. A lot of us married our siblings. A lot of us just got married and or hooked up, linked up, made friends with people that we were unhealed with. Effortlessly, unconsciously, by way of these unresolved issues. But once you are consciously choosing, you now have to hold yourself accountable to the decisions that you make. The Most High is like, oh, now you know better. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna need you to do better. I know what they did to me. I know who I was. I was Isis. I was Nefertiti. Okay, now that you know, what are you going to do with the information now that you have it? What was it that you didn't finish? Are you here to finish it out, or do you want to keep going back? You want to keep going back? Careful, you could keep going back and you might get stuck there. One has to be strong in order to navigate the mind. Childhood trauma, listen, is vital. It's essential, because you have to sit down with the younger version of yourself and say, one, I am safe. You don't have to do that. That's just a suggestion. You can choose to take this information and apply it, or you can say, wow, okay. You might ask yourself something different. The thing about going back into the shadows and talking to your inner child, you can't mess it up, because only you know the conversation that your inner child needs to have with you. Only you know you better than you. Who knows you better than you? Nobody's going to go further for you than you. You got a spirit team. You got angelic angels all around you. You got ancestors. They can guide you. They can give you hints and send you synchronicities and numbers. You could do all of that. But ultimately, you have to make a decision. This is when free will kicks in. We'll tap more into that in the next video. So this card says, what is the universe telling us? You are highly intuitive and creative. So somebody say, I'm highly intuitive. I am creative. My mind thinks in pictures. And I always draw information by way of my beautiful ideas. I look to the sky. I always look up for what it is that I want. A powerful drive to know the oneness of all things. I am insightful. 29. This is a beautiful number. This is a beautiful message. You know why? Because this is why we're here. No matter what the circumstance, no matter what the timeline, no matter where you are by way of the evolution of yourself, everybody wants to know the workings of life, the why, the big why am I here, right? So we go on this journey. If you seek, you shall find. Some of the things we find we don't like, but it's the truth nonetheless. What you do with that is absolutely going to determine how you navigate through life. Listen, number 99, it says, it is time to get to work on realization of your soul's mission. You have a higher purpose in this life that is yours and only yours to fulfill. Unleash your power. I am courageous. Courageous. I always had issues with pronouncing that word. Courage, courageous. Okay. It sounds funny to me when I hear my voice say it that way. 888, it says, as you focus on all wonderful things that surround you, you are clearing the path for more positive energy to flow into all areas of your life and creating a place of abundance. I am abundant. So you know, with these affirmations, when it says you absolutely want to put I. You always want to apply all good positive things to yourself, right? Yeah. I am focused on all wonderful things. I am surrounded by all beautiful things. I'm clearing my own path, co-creating with Source for more positive energy to flow into all areas of my life. I'm creating a place of abundance. I am abundant. 888 represents as above, so below. Being mindful of what you think, what you speak, what you put out. Those are intentions. Be that silent or verbally. You absolutely are putting an energy into an energetic field that is going to yield some type of an outcome and or possibility that will manifest in the physical. So one must be mindful. Nobody's exempt from that. Number 11, it says, you have a keen sense of awareness of what is happening around you, a strong intuition. Spirit says to be aware of your surroundings as you navigate by way of your spiritual journey. Your intuition becomes heightened in a way that you could be overly sensitive to all energies. This is why it's important to understand the frequency and the channel that you are on. But when one stays in a high place by way of a high frequency and a high vibration, it's easy to navigate through any type of tumultuous terrains. It's the high vibration that allows you to overcome any obstacles that could be in your way. Having a positive spin on it helps you think clearly. Being in control of your emotions. Thank you, Spirit. It says intuition is a gift. Appreciate that. Cherish it. Have an understanding that unspoken feelings and thoughts of others is also a form of energy. I just said that. Thank you, Spirit. The thoughts of others, this insight allows you to be a great guide and a supporter. I am intuitive, right? I am discerning. Whenever I think of intuition, I think about discernment. I think about those two are a gift to us and how they absolutely should always go hand in hand. 10:10, keep your thoughts positive and be patient as everything is working out for your highest good. So this is really an energy, obsessively, compulsively, deliberately. Just put this in your mind for the next 24 hours until it becomes contagious, until you become addicted to this thought, right? It says, my thoughts are positive. I am patient with myself and everything is working for my highest good and for those around me as well, right? I love to fill my cup with all this positivity and let it spill over into the people that are around me. What I pray for myself, I pray for others as well. Now, if there is no peace there, then all this good energy is just going to return to me, right? This says, trust that the angels are working behind the scenes to help you. Know that I am patient. The number 10:10, 444. Trust your journey. I trust my journey. Trust the way that your life unfolds. I trust the way that my life is unfolding. And I trust that I am exactly where I need to be at this present moment. I am divinely protected. So this is the message, y'all. I love y'all so very much. Thank you for stopping by. Hopefully this was able to help somebody to speak their truth and share this video with somebody that maybe you feel could use it. I don't know, or maybe you'll just keep it for yourself. But I hope that positivity becomes contagious. It's some beautiful people around the world doing a beautiful body of work wherever you are. Never minimize your light. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. So you're working your side of the planet. Whenever I get up, I see what the world is going through. And I say, okay, Spirit, well, I can only work this side of the planet. I don't know about, I can't stop what's going on with the war. But I can pray. But I know that there's people there that are praying. I know that there's prayer warriors all over this entire planet. I know there's people that are awakening. So I can't go into this job fretting and being afraid of what I can't control. So I surrender that to you, Source. That's my energy, y'all. That's really how I move in real life. Like for real, for real. Like that's for real. I'm having a real moment right now. But what I can do is work my side of the planet. What does that look like? Well, just being kind. When I go to the grocery store, I smile at as many people as I can smile at. Some people don't smile back. Some people don't look. You don't know what people are going through, but just move in light. And sometimes, it can get a little taxing, but that's okay. There's always an earth angel. There's always an earth angel that you're going to cross paths with to remind you not to grow weary and being lighthearted and being good. Because that energy absolutely does go out. I always send peace into the store before I get there. I send peace to my house when I leave it. Hey, I'm sending peace to my house as I drive away. So when I come back, I return to peace. And now I want to send peace on the road. I'm sending peace to meet me at the stop sign, peace to meet me at the stop light, peace to meet me at the store. And when I get back in the car, I need peace. I need a good basket. I need a good parking spot. I always get what it is that I want. When I'm in alignment with Source and my heart is free, I always get what I want, and I am eternally grateful. That's the truth. I love y'all. I'll see you soon. Wrap your arms around yourself. Tell yourself, I am grateful. Give yourself a tight hug. I'm doing it with you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I will see y'all in the next video. Until then, peace be with you.